Well, Scott, Ubisoft confirms Assassin's Creed Red and Star Wars Outlaws to release in fiscal year 25. Anthony Fratino over at Insider Gaming, Ubisoft confirmed the release window for both Assassin's Creed codename Red and Star Wars Outlaws in a new financial report yesterday. The report specifically mentions, quote, the upcoming release of Star Wars Outlaws in 2024, end quote. So, it could launch earlier than expected. However, a Disney blog post in January pointed to a late 2024 release window. Meanwhile, Assassin's Creed Red remains broadly set for the fiscal year of 25. Fortunately, the financial report also reveals that, quote, the extent of the fiscal year 2024-2025 lineup will be revealed in May, end quote. So, fans could expect clearer release windows or potentially even some concrete dates. Recently, Insider Gaming released an exclusive report on the current state of the affairs at Ubisoft, ranging from internal tensions and worry. Many within the company are hopeful that the performance of the aforementioned games, along with other games, will help turn things around for the studio. It, quote, in 2025 and 2026, expect a new mainline entry of Ghost Recon. Thank goodness. Project Over. Set during a fictional Namian war. 2 new Far Cry titles, including a multiplayer multiplayer game, Project Maverick, and a new mainline entry in the Far Cry series, Project Blackbird. 2 new Assassin's Creed game, Hexy and Invictus. I haven't heard of that one, which is odd.
No,
because
Invictus is new.
yeah, dude, that is brand. That is. And the already announced Splinter Cell remake. Please, sooner than later. Insider Gaming has learned. Quote, beyond that, expect several new Assassin's Creed games, including Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake, currently known as Project Obsidian, which we have covered just not too long ago as well, Scott. It's been interesting to see Ubisoft's... We talked about what is their lineup look like this year, right? Right now, I'm in the world of Skull and Bones. Early in the world of Skull and Bones, mind you, but I'm having... So far, I'm like, okay, I'm past the tutorial that I've done throughout like 4 betas. I'm like, give me past this. I just need out. I need past that beginning, right? It was just like a little hub that kind of gets you grounded with what's going on, and that you're out gather resources.
Tutorial Island.
Exactly. Dude, that is exactly what it is. I'm now past that. I'm like, all right, let the games begin. So, but I'm like 10 minutes past
I do have a question for you, because you're ahead of me in this. Have you seen Sam Fisher's mention? Is there any skins of his?
Not
He's
yet.
in everything except for his own game. I'm wondering if he's also got a... Actually, you know what? He was in the Navy. That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, just not back in those days. We'll see what happens there, but
it's interesting to see what is Ubisoft going to do if these don't work out well. Or if they don't work, if they don't meet expectations, as Square Enix likes to say. Is there something new they could create? Some sort of new IP, and that would be Skull and Bones. So it really is just Skull and Bones, or do you pull one out of the graveyard, go back to Beyond Good and Evil?
dude, where's Beyond Good and Evil 2? Like that, like if you want to talk about things that are sinking, right? Prince of Persia remake wasn't going well. Pulled that out. Beyond Good and Evil 2, don't know what happens. What is that even in existence still? Where is that? What happened to that game? What happened to that circumstances, that studio? Like, everything's up in the air with that. So they have to come out swinging, right? Mirage last year did really, really well, right? Like, people were hungry for that stealth, smaller, tight-knit little game. Granted, I put 30 hours into it. Man, I just adored it. I loved it. I had so much fun. Assassin's Creed Red, though, now I'm looking forward to getting into this feudal Japan. Something the fans have been asking for basically since the beginning of the franchise. And it's been so long now. We're like, yo, where is, like, it's been 15 years. No feudal Japan. Like, dude, that was a cue right there. Like, it was just, it made so much sense. And then you have Ghost of Tsushima. And I wonder if that's what they saw was like, yo, maybe we should do this setting. So
it turns out feudal Japan can be a really, really cool setting. It's funny that we had to let them know that, but
yeah,
I'm thinking, are they going to have to lean, I'm worried, rather, that they're going to have to lean into a games as a service kind of model. And that has me worried when it comes to the next Ghost Recon game.
So they tried doing a battle royale.
Well-placed worry?
Well, no, it's definitely well-placed worry. It was Ghost Recon Frontline. and it was not going well at all. So it was one of those circumstances. That's for sure. But we'll see what happens, dude. I'm really, really hopeful for the future of Ubisoft. I'm a big fan of the studios. Just the games they make really kind of speak to me, right? It's one of those things like, wow, this is really, really cool. From Assassin's Creed to Far Cry to Splinter Cell, like it's all there for me. And it's really what I love and adore. So
they do Immortals Phoenix Rising as well. Do I recall that correct?
Yeah.
And I think that one struck well with you as well.
It's
actually based on your recommendation. It's now in my backlog as well.
Yeah,
we're definitely Ubisoft fans here, which has me
are
just excited that we're seeing things come back. I talk about pulling things out of the graveyard. Well, I do appreciate some of those things in the graveyard, like Splinter Cell.
But we need the remake. Like, let's reboot that franchise. That's another one, right? The fans have been asking for, but they haven't been able to kind of come together with the story, so they're gonna start over. Bring in the remake, and where does that lead them from there, right? We talked about Konami, how they're rebooting the Metal Gear franchise because they can't make a new one, right? They're gonna reboot it and start working from the ground up, and then bring us back into all the Metal Gear franchises. Are they gonna do that over Ubisoft with Splinter Cell? Dude, the opportunity's there. The game's been gone. Like, Blacklist was the last one, and that was a PS4 game, right?
Oh, it's been PS4,
PS3. I might be even wrong. It might have been PS3. It's been so long. Now I gotta look it up.
Scott. I think it is, in fact, PS3. Yeah,
it is,
I own that on 360.
Yeah, okay. So I was like, wow, that is a long time to be away from that franchise that people have been asking for. And like you say, we get Sam Fisher in everything else. So then where is Splinter Cell, right? But then when you get into Star Wars coming out, so now let's take a look at the roadmap. What do we have? Obviously, we don't have confirmation of what's actually dropping. Besides, we did get Prince of Persia, came out swinging, right? The Lost Crown, absolutely immaculate, an incredible game. And now we're getting here with Skull and Bones. Very curious to see how it lands with everybody. So far, I'm too early to really judge, but I'm having a decent time. But I'm past the tutorial stage, which is now going to open up opportunities. So where does this lead us? Where does this bring us now? And then from there, dude, we don't really know what else is on the dock. We're talking about Star Wars Outlaws, hopeful, right? They need that. What's their one big game this year? What's the one big heavy hitting that's going to draw people in? And if you're going to do that, you can do it holiday season. That's when 9 times out of 10. But if you can find that opening, that sweet spot within the industry, the problem is games drop all the time. So it's hard to find that one sweet spot that you can stand out above the rest to then bring in that financial backing to then keep boosting the studios. So I'm very hopeful.
I think this does line up to holiday season. I think that will release because it has the mass appeal of Star Wars. Yeah. And then that plus the holiday season, if you do get a good release date, I think that could sell really well. Much better than Prince of Persia, which unfortunately just didn't hit the mark. I think Square Enix, as they would say, did not meet expectations, which is sad. I think that was mostly because it was a two-dimensional game, and it's just there's been a disconnect from two-dimensional games with the general behavior of gamers nowadays, and that's sad because Prince of Persia is so far my game of the year.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I think it deserves to be in that conversation for sure. I'm definitely curious to see what lies ahead for the rest of the year. But where does Assassin's Creed Red line up? Now I feel like I've been so far gone from Mirage because when Valhalla dropped, dude, it was just DLC drop. Like I was always going back. With Mirage, dude, they literally put it out and walked away. And I'm okay with that. I think that's great. You know what? You're done. I think that's cool. It doesn't need DLC. I would like DLC just because I want to come back to the world. But if you just want to work on Red, give me Red because that's where I want to be next.
I have an idea for DLC. How about the multiplayer? We drop that multiplayer mode back in, and then you'd have a lot of people return. I think you'd be surprised, Ubisoft.
Yeah, dude, I do miss the multiplayer. I was there for hours. That was the multiplayer that really turned me around. Because back in the day, dude, it was all team deathmatch, and I'm like, I don't like this. But all of a sudden now, you're sneaking through shadows. Dude, there's nothing more satisfying than walking in a group, finding your target, walking by them, poisoning them, because then you stack your bonuses because you're in the group, so you're already camouflaged, right? So you're disguised, so you get a bonus for that. You kill them with poison, which then you're able to stack on other features. And then because they didn't even notice you, your point, all of a sudden you can go from the bottom right to the top with one kill, right? And it was so rewarding. I loved it. And then it came into like a running situation where I think Ubisoft's like, no, this is not what we wanted the multiplayer to be. But everybody was just like beelining it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like, but when it first started,
it broke the meta.
It did break the meta. But when it first started, dude, it was slow and methodical, and it was nothing like anything I've ever played. I think that was the highlight for me.
You describe it
so cool.
Excuse me. You describe it as I play Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
That Watch Dogs multiplayer was so good, and I want to see that come back in any form.
Yeah, where is the next Watch Dogs, right? After Legion, do you think we're gonna get anything else?
I think Legion just didn't sell well enough, which a lot of the case of new games these days. That's why they fall back on their old IPs, which is safe, but if those don't work out, then they're in a real problem.
I'm very curious to see what they did with Ghost Recon. What have you now gone back to the drawing board? Because I think they really scrapped Frontline and they've started over, which, granted, when they announced Frontline, everybody's like, no. So, but we're hopeful. In May, we're going to find out more from Ubisoft.